Perhaps one of the funniest moments of this episode was when Mr. Diabate discovers the magic of the avocado toast sandwich, so easily presented accidentally by Carol, showing him the magic and creativity that still remains within them. The hive, although proven useful to him, wouldn't be able to show him something that seems so minuscule and simple, but the very principle of it could persuade him to jump on the Carol train soon. At least this is my prediction. It's possible. I could see the moment growing into something that builds on itself more, like being able to, oh my gosh, this is creative. This is interesting. It could be just, or it could just be lost in just one comedic moment. It could just be that instead. So the reveal of the frozen body parts was definitely divisive, and in the sense that I was divided. On one side, I was thinking, oh, okay, so are we finally going to see some more real conflict, a real threat? Evidently not, of course. Of course. way too soon to be thinking that. A real compromise of moral ethics that cannot be explained away by some presentation that the hive provides. And then, of course, you have, on the other hand, which reminds me that they always have an explanation that at the end that with the hive reminding Carol that her happiness is their drug, although they have officially broken up with her. This was frustrating because she was so proud of what she had uncovered, thinking that she was the only one who discovered this horror element. It does make me wonder how Mr. Diabate and has found out that they will starve to death soon. When the James Bond gambling scene unfolds, I couldn't help but wonder if this was a flashback. Just for a moment, I was thinking it's possible, because it could just as easily be that, a flashback, but quickly we learn that this was merely a gambling fantasy. And it kind of, once you see the James Bond villain guy with the eye patch, can't help but be reminded of Mr. 2 from Austin Powers.
Who does number 2 work for?
That's right, buddy. You show that to his boss.
The number of Austin Powers references popping up all over the place in the last few weeks has been abundant. strange and abundant. It's possible that it's flashback, but quickly we learn that it's merely gambling fantasy that he has laid out for them all to act out for him to sustain his happiness. And this right here pokes at possibilities for what might actually be happiness, etc. It makes me think about what is our happiness? It's just a mere state of mind only? Is it more than that? Is it everything together? And of course, with this episode today, next time I'm at a fancy function, like a dinner party or something, I will be happy to know that know this fancy word for cannibalism, anthropophagy. As Carol drives into Mr. Diabate's Las Vegas, I couldn't help but imagine all the people of the hive scattering away like cockroaches as she approaches, terrified of her because she is now the major threat and to the collective, and with nasty words.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
Part of me does wonder, like, what is this a metaphor for? There's so many different directions you could take that. I love how committed Carol has become in this endeavor to return the world to chaotic individualism. The real trick here is that when you surrender your right to choose, to have no agency, that it is, according to some scripture, perhaps a Luciferian direction. Just a thought. As Carol searches for Mr. Diabate through the maze of luxury to the Elvis Presley suite, and she is so proud of what she's uncovered and eager to show him her findings. And Mr. Diabate describes how very dramatic her videos were. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't surprised when he was already aware, because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, really? Okay, so is he aware or is he not? Because we do have different levels of morals that are being established, of course, amongst all the 12, right? We have different morals that's dividing these people, right? These, what few they have left to make decisions on. There's just so few left, and they're dividing themselves. And so the John Cena reveal was hilarious. When you give Cena an opportunity to be funny, most of the time he's pretty able to deliver. I did find myself laughing loudly many times throughout this episode. It was actually a very funny episode. And leave it to Vince Gilligan to give us an apocalypse series where you still have overpopulation as one of the problems to be solved, still yet to be, even though the hive provides. This is where we find out that their milk is a solution to the food that is perishable. And of course, this food is in danger of spoiling soon. 100,000 people die every day to feed 7 billion. So we have John Cena's explanation that the hive isn't keen on anthropophagy was hilarious and tragic at the same time, toying with our reaction to this reveal. In French, he is more convincing. When Diabate tells Carol that the 12 have been meeting without her, continuing with their own private mind, it reminds us how easy it is for people to take sides dependent on their moral decisions. Because of Carol's righteous actions, she has doomed herself to loneliness because everyone that would be reachable have all collectively chosen to not be reachable. Perhaps one of the funniest moments of this episode was when Mr. Debate discovers the magic of the avocado toast sandwich, so easily presented accidentally by Carol, showing him the magic and creativity that still remains within them. The hive, although proven useful to him, wouldn't be able to show him something that seems so minuscule and simple, but the very principle of it could persuade him to jump on the Carol train soon. At least this is my prediction. It's possible. I could see the moment growing into something that builds on itself more. So, quick side note, which side would you be on? I'm dying to know which would you choose? Which side would you take? Would you join the rest of the 12 in their comfort, living on being pampered by the collective, or would you go hard like Carol, making the hive afraid of you? Perhaps we could enjoy the power. Perhaps we could enjoy sticking it to the hive after they have accidentally killed our loved ones or assimilated our loved ones. Would you hang out with your storage facility, steering clear of the madness, or would you actively seek out more people like you in this society? I would initially see it as something that I would not be able to trust right away. So I would probably be like Manusos. He seems to be the one that he seems to be the one that I'm living vicariously through at the moment. It was a sad shame to see Carol realize how much damage has been done to the last friendships / relationships that she may have access to. When she says, "Nah, never mind, I was just kidding," it gave me a sense of relief because she would come across too needy, etc. But she quickly swallowed her pride and claimed that she was joking about staying. And that was an unfortunate self moment realization moment for her, I think. And she's realizing that she's alone in a lot of her thoughts, in her decisions, in her morals. She's alone in these things. I am so glad that that Manusos was finally brought back into the fold more. He's become a larger part of the story. His thread is slowly becoming woven into the organized chaotic mix. I'm looking forward to his story a lot because he hasn't established trust with the hive yet. It was great to see him finally realizing. That was a great moment to actually see him realizing, okay, there are other people out there. This is his initial moment of discovering that there are other people out there that aren't part of the hive mind. It was actually a great moment to see him do that. So at the moment, he seems to be the most interesting character because he's having to reestablish the trust. And just in case you are curious, they are doing a second season on this. Apple TV has purchased a second season. So this will be going further into a second season, and it'll be interesting to see where they take this thing, because the biggest reveal now, of course, is that they cannot turn her without her permission.